It's time, everybody. We're live. So, if you've got some questions, my friends, in order to increase your charisma, in order to have a lot of fun, then this is a good place for you to do that. So, welcome, welcome. I'll share a little bit until the people join us so that we have some fun. Uh, as we're here right now, let's warm ourselves up. All right, again, welcome. If you've got your questions, I'd love to talk to you. So say yes. I'm going to wave at you. Can I invite you? If you've got questions, ask those questions right now on how you can improve your flirting. Maybe you want to be funnier. Perhaps you want to just create friends in your life or improve the friendships. What would you like? Ask those questions right now in the chat. And if there's a way to bring people on board, I'd love to see that. In the meantime, let's do some exercises to warm ourselves up. So the face, the voice, and gestures themselves are the three ways that we can project ourselves into an interaction, right? So if you've ever been thinking that I wish I could be more expressive so that the person understood me, or let me flip that. Have you ever been talking to people and it just, even you feel like you're like, I've got to be boring? I'm guessing you have this face, the deadpan face, right? This is the kind of face that shows like, I don't want to show any emotion. It's called the sad, right? The serious, and you're a little anxious, and then it's just this deadpan, right? You don't allow people to see your emotions, and therefore, you don't allow yourself to have yourself to be seen, right? To feel safe. And so what we're going to do is do some warm-ups to isolate each of these parts of the body, your projective modes, and exercise them. And boom, once those are exercised, we can put them back together. And now you'll have far more cohesive, coherent expression. So fun exercises to start right now are the face. So we're gonna do a little face yoga. So just copy me as I make faces. Open the face all the way wide. And scrunch it down. What can I do? Can I share the live? Ooh, maybe I can do it to Keegan on the gram. Does that work? Nice. I guess you want a fist bump, yeah. So as you open the face up, you can also scrunch it back down. Go all the way to the side. And then bring it to the other side. We're kind of like just working the face out, loosening it up so that when it comes to expressing some emotions, you'll have far more activity, more readiness in the muscles of your face, okay? Here we go. We're going to share this on the gram. So now down with the face, down and down. Everything down. Now everything up. Good. And now out to the left, down to the right. And switch. And now just move anything and breathe deeply while you do it. I got people laughing at me outside of my co-working space. Perfect. Means it's working. Welcome, Soleil. I'd love to ask you some questions, or rather answer your questions if you've got questions for improving your dating and charisma, my friend. Write them out. I don't know if I can invite you. add as a moderator, but it can't put them on. Can you do that? No. Oh, there's an option here. Invite to join. I can invite people to join on Instagram. That's pretty cool. Now, so you got the face opened up. I want you to do is now add emotions into your faces that we're making. So, for example, I want you to just make an extreme face, like, all right? And now we're gonna make that face again, but add that emotion into it. So if I make a random face, and I'm gonna add in anger. You see how you see how that changes it? So we're gonna do it again. Make a face, and now add in joy. That's a lot of fun. Now, same thing. Let's make a face. Add in disgust. Amazing. So now we're starting to work. First, there's the outer layer of the face, which is your musculature. And then you have the inner emotional process. That's the emotions we're creating. These two interplay. And so when we start to put them together with like a crazy face, and then add an emotion, let's put loathing. It's so ridiculous. When you add these two together, you allow yourself to have so much more like connection with the emotional expression. So now I have a heart 100. I can 100 it. That was cool. If Soleil is here, write a question down on what you have for increasing your charisma, increasing your dating life, finding the social circle you desire. How to meet strangers. So we open the face up. Now let's do the voice. So we're going to do the voice by saying, let's have two emotions. Great question. Cool. We got a question from Soleil. How do we connect with women through humor, but not let them think we are clowns? This is great. So what he's speaking to is there's either you're the like serious James Bond type, or you're the extremely clown-like playful person, right? And you can, if you allow yourself to say that you're either or the other, it removes this capacity you have to embrace the whole spectrum, right? So we can go back and forth from having either or, as well as have a blend of them, right? So if I want to be playful and connect with humor, but not be seen as the clown, sometimes it's as simple as something I have RSF. RSF is resting smirk face, right? So my resting smirk face, it's like the moment I meet a woman and I'm like, oh, hey there. I have this belief running in the background that's like always imagining every woman that I meet wants me. Like they're all my women. I'm excited that every woman that I'm meeting is in that like desirous state, right? Everybody is sexual and everybody wants to play. What we feel when we play is this aliveness. So I want you to connect to that idea of like, whatever I say to this person, it's to help each other feel this aliveness and gratitude for life. So if it goes too far into the, did you like that? Then there's a like, you kind of get the clap or like, okay, nice to meet you. And that's not the place that you create a great connection, right? You're getting the dollar. So bringing it back from that bridge so that you can have the playfulness without going too far, requires you to engage. And I want to give a game as well as an example. You want to have the ability to connect about them, whatever's going on in the moment. I'm connecting to what I notice in the moment. And then I have my own spin on how that impacts the relationship between me and you. So I want to comment on Soleil, you and I having this connection. I want to comment on what I noticed during that. His name is Soleil Foreplay. So notice right there's a name that you can say and maybe even pray. What do you say? I'm noticing what's there and riffing on that, right? Expanding it. I can agree and amplify by acknowledging what's there and then exaggerating on it. So with that, I include in as well this idea of breathing and how does that affect the relationship between us, right? So lay foreplay. Oh, wow. Okay. The smirk. You like to play, don't you? Amazing. Well, I go to something as simple as the kids' playground, where you can thumb wrestle a woman. You can play the game where you hold the hands, you slap the hands. And these games allow the person to reconnect to their inner child, and they feel safer in that moment to play. So this is a great way to bring somebody else into their playful spirit. Oh la la. We like this. Ooh la la. So that's a great idea. If you're enjoying this, say it that makes sense to you, and you have more questions, ask away. I wonder if I can share Instagram from one channel to the other channel. Well, I can create a post. Can I go live? No, I can't create a story. Can't create a story from Instagram desktop. Can I send a Soleil? Maybe you could. Well, that wouldn't be on my channel. Let's just keep going. Well, if people from Instagram join, they will. If not, we have YouTube. So let's keep going with this. And I want to share with you more of how to create connection. There's more hearts popping off. I love that. Let's dive into continuing that idea of the connection building from stranger. So when I meet somebody, you have to have an opener. You have to have a conversational starter, right? Things like whatever I notice in the moment is an observational opener. Okay, like whether say like amazing shirt, or people go as basic as fine weather we're having. These are observational openers, but you want to get more about choices that the person in front of you has definitely made about themselves, about the way they move, their fashion sense. Right? You can say like, whoa, hey, I just want to tell you, I love your look, right? That's much better than I think you're pretty. I love your look. I like your style. You seem interesting, right? Whoa, you fascinate me. Right? These are like really great ways to just like grab attention. Sometimes I'll even say, excuse me, before I would say something like this, just to like get the attention on me, and then they hear the next thing you say. So you don't have to like repeat yourself. Once you open the conversation, you want to drive towards something. You're going to essentially have to take on 90% of the conversation. They take on 10 for the first few minutes in order to basically assume the burden of creating the connection, right? You're the one that chose to start it. So It's your job to get it to a point where the person's actually fascinated enough to ask you a question. They're like, okay, you seem interesting too. Let's talk. Right? And that hook point can happen from a look, right? But when you see each other, or it could happen after a few minutes of conversation, or even, after a few sentences. When you find something in common, that's a hook. When you have status in a location, that is a very attractive quality that will definitely help people. Like if they see other people acknowledging you and high-fiving you, it's like, oh, you belong here. So now when you approach, it's like, hey, we haven't met yet. I'm Keegan, what's your name? Then this is seen as like, oh, okay, we're supposed to meet. If we didn't, then there was a problem here, right? So in order to increase the connection, you need to have your own topics of conversation that you love to talk about, right? You can make an acronym for yours, right? For me, making money, authentic connection. Let's see here, singing and movement. So mask, right? Those are 4 great topics I love to talk about all day. So, karaoke, movement, masm, making money, authenticity, singing, and kinesthetics. That's what I put it as, which means movement itself, and singing includes karaoke. So I have those topics I love to bring into conversation, and I'm going to be strong with those, right? So I'll try to connect whatever's happening to that, because that's the things that I'm regularly studying and considering every day. How to build a business, taking singing lessons, right? Going to gymnastics classes, training people in comedy improv. So all of this is my regular life. So mask is my metaphor in my brain, so I can easily grab topics to talk about, and I'm going to relate whatever's going on. So, right, for example, let's give an example at the park. I'm walking in the park, and a friend of mine is walking with me, and he's walking on this concrete path around the edge of the park, and I was like, I feel a calling. We must walk through the field towards the dogs. That's where we'll find people to connect to. And he was like, okay, skirt, hard left turn, and whoop. And as we start to walk through the field, immediately a woman is on the left sitting down in the field, and I'd definitely seen her from the past, we were walking in the distance, but didn't pay any attention to it. But in that moment, I still acted like a completely new, fresh noticing. Oh, hey, person. And her dog, they had this contact with me, and I assumed, hey, she totally wants to talk to me. Everybody would love to talk to me. I just have that belief running. So when eye contact is made, it feels like an easy embrace to just go and be like, okay, hey. And my friend and I ended up enjoying company with her and doing meditations. We prayed together. We ran around and played together for an hour. And this woman at the end, when we were like, we got to go, she was like, this is one of my favorite days. You made my day today. Thank you. And, shared contact and information. And she's going to come to one of our future events. So let's break it down. How did that connection go? Right? That connection happened because the moment that I embraced connection, we're talking about the dog, we pet the dog, and it's got a Rastafari kind of dreaded hair for his head. It's kind of a fascinating dog. That it just made us talk about that, and then talked into music, and then I'm talking about singing, and then I'm singing a little bit, and then we're talking about how that transforms the body. When you can sing, you can express yourself. It requires conviction and trust that whatever is happening is okay. And now you're talking about trust and feeling okay. It's natural that you and the person are going to start to feel that trust, right? You can't talk about a concept without embodying it in order to reference how to discuss it. So that's a really huge concept I want to share with you all. Is there's certain experiences you can talk about with someone that build a stronger connection. Do you want to know what those are? If you would like to know those, then give me a little typey type, or if you have another question, I can go there too while I eat this delicious salty chip. Definitely be generous. It's a generous gorilla, Soleil. I love it. He says, tell us. So, I got distracted in my excitement. If I'm going to tell you, what am I going to tell you? Talking about the connection. How I made the connection. What was the topic? Come back to my brain. There's different ways. Oh, I made out with her. Oh, yeah. Exactly. Telling her the different topics. So there's certain topics. Thank you, Soleil. There's certain that you bring up in conversation that create more connection. What are those? You want first to have this experience of comfort with people. They need to feel comfortable around you in order to open up. So social comfortability is essential, right? That's where they feel. And so if you break down comfort, what is that? Comfort means two things. It means safety and familiarity. So what does that mean? That means we want to have a sense of togetherness. Right? The more we have time together, the more it's you and me against the world, the greater we have this feeling of being on the same team and not combative, right? So think about having this collaborative frame versus combative. And so you go from making statements about yourself, statements about her, to statements about us. And inside of that, if you just talk about, wow, when I'm looking at you, I feel like I'm safe as I am looking into your eyes. Wow, okay, that feels comfortable. Cool. You know that feeling? Do you know the feeling that you get when you're safe somewhere? It's a great feeling. The same thing can come up for whether it's attraction, spontaneity. Are you adventurous? Yeah, like for me, I love adventure. I think it's one of the most incredible qualities that a person can have, because if you're adventurous, right? Adventurous people basically help society move forward. They help us to take action. So when we see something that we really want in our life, we go for it. And that's adventurous. Do you think you're adventurous? Yeah, like for me, for example, I traveled the world, been to over 15 countries, and just kind of like walk into a new city in Italy. I didn't know where I was going to stay, who I was going to meet, but I just go into a cafe, practice some Italian. Sto camminando la via Francigena in Italia por 77 giorni. And I would make friends with people that are in the cafe, romantic lovers, people that would invite me into their homes, and all because I would be talking about what I'm up to and asking that person what they're up to, and then talking about how those two things relate to each other. The more those two things relate, it creates that togetherness. Like, wow, we get along well. We're pretty synchronistic. Like, you love to do this deep prayer work. You love to get on your knees, Soleil, and shout to the heavens to come inside of you. And I love to be able to sing and allow the Spirit to move me. Those sound like very similar experiences. Ooh la la. Um, and so you create this sense of togetherness, you create this sense of bonding by having these moments together. And you want to actually allow yourself to move locations together. If you're ever with a friend, do you guys just stay in one spot, or usually you're like, let's go check out that thing over there. Right, let's go see what the view is like from that around that tree. I want to go look at that tree. Oh, let's go see what the happening is in that room over there. Right? You want to go and explore the world together with your friend. So take on that same mentality with somebody that you just met. I could just meet you and be like, whoa, you seem pretty interesting. I want to meet you. I'm Keegan. What's your name? Yeah, oh, cool. I'm actually on my way home. I got to go do some work, but I want to meet you right now. Check this out. Let's go under that tree for like 2 minutes, and then I have to leave. But I would love to connect and see if there's something here. Why are we brought together? Why are we walking on this street on the same day, same time? What is that? Let's find out. My only expectation is that we're going to have some fun. So if that interests you, great. If not, send that person love and carry on. And know it's a numbers game, baby. You just got to keep going. Yeah. I've had these kinds of moments create immediate makeouts. Within a few minutes, I've had them create clients paying me, thousands of dollars. I've had this create friendships and connections to like get me into parties. It's amazing. It's amazing. Next question. Thank you, Soleil. Have an incredible day. I'm happy you were here. Who else? I'll answer questions that I know are the most common questions I get. Number one is, how do I have a conversation become more romantic, become more sexual? Right? Like I can meet a person and say hi and talk about some things, and it's a nice conversation, but after a few minutes, maybe 30 minutes, it goes nowhere, and we just say nice to meet you and shake hands. Maybe we exchange contacts, but they never answer. What's going on here? Let's talk about that. Taking the shoes off for this one, guys. Getting real. So I want you to imagine that you're the person that's being approached by somebody, right? Picture this. You're doing your thing, maybe talking to your friend. You guys are just like talking and staring at the sun at the park. And then someone comes up and they say, hey, how are you? Nice to meet you. Yeah, oh, cool. Yeah, this is a great park, right? I love parks. And yeah, oh no, I really enjoy, like, did you come here often? That's really cool. Wow, you seem pretty nice. What do you do? Oh, I work for the bank. Okay, do you like it? Kinda. I mean, it's convenient. It works for now. Yeah, I get that. I've been there myself, right? I like my work. What do you do? Oh, yeah, I work as a coach. I work as a tech. I work in tech. Okay, yeah, that's cool. What are you doing today? How's it going? Uh, can you feel how that conversation? I imagine you've had many of them. It's not going anywhere. I'm giving you personal details about what's my life, but without any context. So it just seems like data points. What purpose does it serve to have these data points? Right? That's the question this person's having in their mind. So what we want is we want to be able to give you information because it makes sense with why you're talking. There needs to be a premise to the connection that you're having. What does that mean? That means that there needs to be a reason that you're talking, not just like nice to meet you, right? So you have to show your intention at some point. So whether you're going to sell something and you're like, you know, you might be like the perfect person for me to work with, but I'm not sure 100%. Are you open to a few questions to find out? Wow, that right there would be very clear for this person to know if they want to go down that path or not. And then you could move on, right? Carry on with your life and save yourself extra time that you're being wasted if they weren't interested. If you want to make it romantic, right? Whether it's a direct comment of like, wow, you're gorgeous, I would love to take you out, or you allow yourself to play the game of teasing each other and making each other feel this pump of aliveness by the game that you play, then you'd be more apt to change your tone of voice, or perhaps with your words that you use, having some kind of innuendo. I've never said that. That sounds fun. So what you want to have happen is allow your I got this song bumping in my head. There's this guy Duran Bernard, and he has a song called Fist Bump. And so he sings it like, I bet you want a fist bump, yeah, or a smooch and a cheek bump. So it's like, right, I bet you want some touch. I bet you want some contact. So it's this like cocky attitude of like, I bet you want something from me. I bet you want to touch me, right? So you can have that in your conversations. Like while we're talking, like, what do you do for work? Oh, you do that. Okay. Wow. I bet you want to do what I do. Yeah, I love it. I bet you want a fist bump. Fist bump, there it is. Some like playful tease, right? It's just starting to introduce more messing with this person, more messing. How can I define messing? This idea of I bet you want this, right? I have something you want. Or I am something you want. When you embrace that, just think about like if you've got someone's keys and they want to get in the house. If you've got the dinner that you cooked for your friend, they're really hungry. You're like, you want the food? Are you ready? They're like, give me the plate, right? If that's what's happening, then notice how that person wants, right? They're like lusting, they're like craving. That's a really great place to be when meeting a stranger, because now you're kind of like you want to go back and forth with that energy of like, you got something. Oh, I got it. I bet you want this now. Oh, I got it. So there's this like feeding each other, which is a great thing to play. Definitely feed your friends, feed your partner, your lover. Highly recommend, whether with the spoon or with your hand. This is fun. I'm enjoying. I think some concepts, even for myself, are clicking together. Where would be a great place to take you now? If you're watching this video, you've heard a lot about like, hey, let me open up my face, open up my voice. We didn't get into the gestures, but you're seeing how I speak. That, right? You can caress, you can pluck, right? You can ring. There's so many gestures that you can make to blossom your own expression. So adding that in is the 3 modes for how to like literally develop your expression. So you'll notice inside of that, you'll have tensions show up like, oh, can I do it right? I don't know if I can. And when you have that, that's the part you want to breathe into in order to release and surrender away. Let's see how much we're going to get. Oh, yeah, cool. Plenty of battery life on that phone. So what you need now is, hey, we got some new faces in the room. Welcome, welcome. If you got questions, ask your questions. So you've learned the 3 modes of projection. Terry's here, welcome. So ask a question, Terry. I'd love to hear what your questions are around charisma, dating, humor, storytelling, what you want to improve. Where's your block you want to release? And while you think about that, my review so far was understanding the face, voice, and gestures as your 3 ways to express your emotions. The inner emotional center genuinely creates emotions on the ready. It's really about stopping yourself or clearing what's stopping you from expressing, which is tension patterns. The biggest no-no. I would say the biggest no-no for me is why I call this company Generous Gorillas. Is because whenever I walk into an interaction, this is a really great question. Whenever I walk into an interaction, if I feel shy or like I'm not welcome, like be aware that's because you're thinking, what can I get? What can I get from this conversation? So now you're in this taking mentality. And that's where scarcity comes in. Like, can I get it? Right? Which means I don't have it. So that creates disconnection. That creates competitive connection. So instead of that, you have this underlying belief of generosity, right? The generosity is about giving. It's about having. You cannot give unless you have something to give. So that means that you must be looking around the world. This is a great question to ask yourself as you're building a belief into your psyche. If this is true, then what else must be true? I believe I have something to give. And now I see a person that I feel fascination and interest in. Not what I would want to be doing is have this opportunity to go and give that to that person. I realize they're going to love it, right? Like imagine you've got 2 tickets around the world that you're going to just give to this person. All they got to do is say hi to you and talk to you. Hey, hey, 2 minutes. I want to talk to you. I got something. Boom. You're going to notice, you're going to feel so much more comfortable to go into that interaction. So my mantra for meeting people, thanks for that acknowledgement, Terry. Looks like you're loving it. My idea, we got another joiner. All right, welcome. Share your questions. So my mantra to be generous in the world, this is really fun, I love this, is check this out. So Terry right now saying he has to run, catch a flight. Check this out is what he just shared. He shared a bit of information of what he's doing. So go check out that flight, bro. I challenge you to tell 3 people at the airport, oh, check this out. And don't even know what you're going to say. You could just be surprised by what else you have after that. Could be, I have prayer. Are you ready? Could be, knock knock joke. Could be high five. Go play with that. Who else is here? Share a question. We'd love to know from you what's going on with your dating, your humor, your social life. What can we support and refine for you? I'm going to drink some water. We talked about openers. You've got opinion openers like, hey, what do you think about this? Right? Oh, we got Billy in the house. Just getting back out there. What should I expect when approaching women? So just getting back out of the market. One thing to expect is this approach anxiety, which is very common about like the fear to get into conversations. And at the same time, getting this mindset of like, who's the right one, right? There's the hot and there's the not. There's the one that measures up, and then there's the one that doesn't. And when this comparison game can make us be like, it's not the right one. It's not the right time. and then we're not connecting to people, but then we see the girl we're really curious about, and suddenly we have to like turn it on, and all of a sudden we have to be someone we're not in that moment because that's the one. So we've created this pedestal vibe. So that's not healthy. That's going to create a lot of like difficulty to feel comfortable talking to her. And so it's easy for us to make excuses to not make the connection. Be like, I'm busy. I have to go to work. I don't have time for that right now. So the mind, we have to know the mind is going to create these roadblocks for you. So you need to set yourself up for success by saying like, cool, I'm going to schedule time in my calendar that is my social time. I'm going to be aware that when that time is coming, I'm going to try to make something else more important because it's fear of actually going out. So know that suddenly something will be more important than that time block. And you're going to say, no, it's not. I can wait 3 hours, 2 hours. Maybe it's only 1 hour. That still works. But that time is devoted to being open. It's devoted to like saying, cool, in this next 1 hour to 3 hours, however long, I allow myself to embrace the impulses of, ooh, who's that person? Oh, who's that person? And by doing that, it'll be more comfortable to I think about people that I'm talking to as like branches, right? So Billy, I want you to imagine you're Tarzan. You're going to meet a person that could be a mom with her baby in the cart you're pushing, and you're talking about, hey, yeah, I just took care of baby for my nephew for the last few months. I was being daddy. And it's like you have a conversation about your real life and what's going on, and that person becomes like your branch to swing on to the next person and grab them. So you're like talking like, oh yeah, that's cool. Oh, that's really cool. And somebody else walks by, they catch your interest as well. And you're like, I love that. Wow. And you're consciously aware they're coming. And when they come close to you, you kind of like just saw them. Like, wow, that's so fun. Oh my gosh. Da, 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 da. Wow, look at you. Hey, you seem interesting. And I use that energy to drive me towards the next person. Which means you need to be aware, how do I exit one conversation with one person so I don't think like I'm just abandoning them and it's rude to just go from one conversation to another. You need to know that's going to be a thought you'll have, right? So because you know that part's going to come up, and you know it's not an issue if someone has a few minutes convo with you and then they just go off on their life. Your target is Jane. Exactly. You Tarzan, her Jane. So you're looking for your Jane and you're swinging from one person to the next, and it keeps you in that creative, collaborative connection rather than this analytic in your head, comparative, combative connection with people as you walk around. So even when you're walking, I'm like having my own little ditty in my head, bopping my foot to like a beat if I'm just standing still. I'm constantly aware that if I'm creating, I'm far more engaging with the world around me than if I'm just being static. This is what people talk about when they say like energy awareness. Like you will be far more naturally, inclined to say hi to someone because you're like, hey, you seem pretty cool. That's going to feel so much more organic to you because you've been making. But if you're just sitting there, all right, what do I do? Who do I talk to? Yeah, oh man, how much time am I going to be here for? She looks kind of cute. Okay, what do I say to her? Man, I don't know. When do I talk to her? I missed it. I missed the moment. If you've had that before, I have had that myself. That's because we're not at the cause of our environment. Instead, we're at the effect. You need to be at the cause. You need to be creating. I imagine you want to be like 90% creating the conversation at the beginning, assuming the burden of it until she suddenly is like, oh, this actually is a cool guy. Like, where do you live? What was your name? That's when you've reached that hook point and the person's intrigued, right? So when it comes to like you're just getting back out there, you need to be aware of all these patterns that are going to try to stop you from going out. That's the first thing. That way you'll stay going out. And then when it comes to being out, it's a really fun meditation I'd love to give you guys. So try this right now. Yeah, exactly. Super interesting, right, Billy? So Billy, I want you to try this, and whoever's listening as well. Imagine going to talk to somebody and you feel that kind of like tension in your body, right? Close your eyes and just take a moment and notice tension in your body, whatever tension could be there right now. Take a deep breath in and allow that tension to wash away. And from here, imagine going to talk to somebody, right? Someone you're attracted to. Okay, and as you think about that, notice tension that shows up maybe in your chest, stomach. For some people, it's the throat or the jaw. Maybe you're holding your breath. Be aware of that tension as you're like, I'm going to go in and talk to them. Here we go. Right? As you have that tension in your awareness, say out loud, yes. Excellent. And now I want you to imagine an entity in front of you. Whether you call it God or you call it cosmic creator or the universe, imagine like an entity, like a humanoid form, and it's there in front of you that's like connects you to the higher power. Now take this tension and just say to this entity, I give this up to you. Whatever outcome will happen from me talking to that person, I trust you. You feel it literally, physiologically move off of your body onto theirs, and notice how you breathe and immediately you feel lighter. In this moment, you're like, I give it up to you. I get that. Now you walk up and approach, like right in that moment. So I could see Jane and be like, oh, she looks cute. I want to talk to her. Deep breath in, exhale. I give it up to you. Take care of this for us. Ooh, and immediately I'll feel lighter and I'm going to walk in right away. I'm going to allow that moment to keep me authentic. If I wait, Apple car, welcome. If I wait for that moment later, the right moment, it will never happen or that person will disappear. So the fact that you had the idea to talk to them, that's the gift that will create the connection from an authentic, vulnerable, honest, and fascinating experience. If this makes sense, then write something in the chat. Apple car, what questions do you have? Write them down and let's answer whatever you want to know about getting out in the dating world, building a social circle, becoming funny. Mm-hmm. What else to share with you on that? It's great to have a few one-liners in your pocket if you're just getting back out there. Some of the things people say most commonly is, I don't know what to say. Have you ever asked yourself that? Like, what do I say? So it's great to have a few one-liners for openers, for transitions to other topics, and for how to sexualize the vibe. How to let this person know that you're interested in them as more than a friend. Okay? One of the really fun techniques to do this is flip the script. So I could even do this on a walk up. I walk all the way across the park, see a girl that's like there talking to her friends, and I'll walk all the way up to her or walk over to her in a restaurant and she's behind the table with her friends. And they're like, hey, did you walk all the way over here just to flirt with me? She's going to be like, what? I didn't even walk over here. What are you talking about? You're flirting with me. Wait, he's saying I'm flirting with him? But no, he's flirting with me. He's messing with me. This guy's messing with me. He's fun. right? She's going to have that experience, okay? And you can add more and more of these spices later on in the conversation. Like, oh my God, no way. That's what you do for work? I love that. I can't. You're going to get me pregnant. You need to stop talking. This is too much. I've already had 2 abortions this year. I can't do another one. My soul can't take it. Right? So I want to flip the conversation that looks like she's chasing me. It's really fun, and if you get a woman who's going to actually play back with you, it's so entertaining, right? Some women are really shy, and they'll kind of be like, I don't know what to do or say, and so that's something to notice. And I would even acknowledge that, like, it's okay. You don't have to feel shy around me. I feel shy sometimes too. If you're feeling shy, it's welcome, right? And that's something really, I've had that as an opener as well. Like, hey, excuse me, are you shy? No? Why? Oh, we've been in the same cafe for like, I don't know, 7 minutes, and you haven't come over to like say hi to me or spank my ass or anything. So I thought I would come over here and help you out. Notice the playfulness, right? The sassiness of like, you want me, right? But I'm bringing up the idea of sex intention, in my intention, and romance in my intention, in the reverse of actually you're chasing me, and even more so is to then put it as like you can't have it, like, just so you know, I'm not easy. You're gonna have to wine and dine this. I'm not just a sausage with feet, right? I got like deep thoughts and emotions, more than a piece of meat. Okay, right? You'll get that kind of a like joke from that person. Like, but we can hold hands. Let's see how we hold hands. This is important. This tells us like, do we have the right arm length to be a good match? Now you're now you're connected. Now you're touching. This starts to build safety and trust, and it escalates the connection from being separate to now we have a memory together of holding hands. Remember that time in the park when we met and we held hands for the first time? Wow. Is this valuable? To me, this seems like this is really, this would be really helpful for me if I was in that position. I'm trying to think what else you would want. What other questions come up, Billy? I love that you're going out this weekend. I'm excited for you. I want you to report back. Tell me how it goes. What are the things to look out for? What are the things to do? Right? I'm going to be going out this weekend. I've got a student. We're going on a boot camp. I'm going to be going to like fairs, festivals, grocery store, all these different locations for him to practice interaction. And what to look for is that while you're out, while you're socializing, it's creative time. This is your bubble of creativity. So you want to turn off, exactly, do our arms match? You want to turn off your analysis mind until when you go home. So if you're out and you're energized and you're talking to people, be aware of like, let me energize myself with like some movement, push-ups, dancing. Yeah. Claps, shouts. You want to be able to have all of this in order to like pump your state and then walk into the park, then walk into the club, wherever you're going. And you'll be activated, you'll be awake, and connection will feel more comfortable for you. That's important. So you want to have state awareness. There's too many guys at the bar and fewer women. Great question. Wow. Change bars. That's a good point. Like, Are you locked in? Is this the one place I'm going to go to? If it's a case where there's women and there's more guys, I don't stop myself from having conversations with people. Like, I don't want to like only talk to the girl. She's watching, she sees everything. So I want her to know I'm just a social person and that's how we meet. So like Tarzan, I can meet a guy, have a conversation with him. One of my best things to have is an exit statement. So if I start a conversation with a guy and I want to get out of that to the girl, I say, excuse me, I want to go talk to my friend. And for me, I believe everyone is my friend, but I just haven't met them yet. So it's still true to me. So it's an easy, like, excuse me, I just want to go talk to my friend. I'll be back. And then I can exit that conversation and walk over and be like, oh, hey, I wanted to come meet you. And if people are out at a bar, this is a social place. They've given themselves permission to be approached by being at a bar. It's just expected inside of that territory. So I want you to also be aware of the numbers game, right? It doesn't mean that if there's only 3 girls in the bar and then you're going to go home that night, well, you only got 3 chances. So you'd want to use those wisely and pump your state and your like charisma, your playfulness with conversations with other people in order to then, when you get into that conversation, be more in the flow, right? And if a guy tries to talk to you or interrupt you with the girl, what I found to be like the best discharge of that, so you can get back to you and the girl, is like he says something, and then when I hear that, I just turn back and I'm like, oh yeah, cool, thanks, man. And then I come right back to my conversation with the woman, right? Because it's socially rude to just ignore them completely. But if you just be like, thanks, man, hey, cool. And they're gonna look back at their friend or whatever, like, he just said like, thanks, man, whatever, cool. And most of the time, they're just gonna drift away after that. Because it's just socially appropriate to be like, oh, they acknowledge me, okay, I guess I can go. And you may have to do that 2 or 3 times, and then it's done. So it's a really great way to just discharge that and get back to your connection. So that's how to work the room, how to deal with them if they interfere. And bouncing. You want to think about instant dates. You want to leave the bar with the girl. You need to think, where is the next place that I could take her, right? I know, hey, there's a really great place around the corner for like a nightcap. There's a great spot for a piece of pizza. I know a really wonderful place for a rooftop for you before going home for the night. You want to just like plant a seed like that inside of the conversation nonchalantly. So you're talking like, yeah, I just came back from living in Mexico and I'm enjoying being in Denver. In fact, I found this place that's like one of the coolest rooftops. Like you can see the most beautiful mountain range view from there. We should go sometime. Anyways, I'm really enjoying being here in the city, right? I'm kind of like an energetic person that I get energy off of people, right? I grew up in New York, so that's why I'm so comfortable talking to strangers. You know what I mean? Boom, I'm in a conversation. I just dropped this seed about this idea of us going somewhere together. So when I say it probably twice in a conversation, when I'm like ready to go with that person, could be immediate, it could be within 40 minutes, but it's like, hey, you know that place, it's not too far. We can just walk there. Let's go together. Let's go. I don't say, would you like to go? You can actually, but there's 2 methods. No, there's 3. Either you can be like, well, yeah, it's been nice meeting you. Hope you have a good night. And you walk away and you don't invite them to anything. And you lose the chance and they may never respond, because I want you to think now is the moment. It's only right now. If they really like you, they want to keep being with you. And for you, it's the same, right? If they have friends, you have to address the friend. And I can't talk about that in the next 90 seconds. But the other two ways to talk about it are to say shyly, like, hey, there's this place. Would you like to go? And you're like timid about it. I hope they'll say yes. That can work if the person really likes you. But a lot of times people are like, oh, I'm busy. I got to go to bed early. And instead, to combat that, I remember to check this out vibe and say things more like, welcome, Katya. So when it comes to asking them to leave a venue and go to a new place as like an instant date, my mantra is SCO. It's like the words let's go, but they're squished together as one word. Let's go. So I see you and I'm like, yo, the rooftop for the view. Let's go there before the end of the night. Let's go. And I start walking as if I believe they're going to follow me. Right? And if they don't follow me, I turn back like, what are you doing? Let's go. And I have that conviction we're going there. And a lot of times that will encourage the person to just be like, okay, I guess, all right, why not? Even if it's just for a few minutes, like 5 minutes, let's go have some fun. If it's not fun, then we're wasting our time. So let's go. That's how I get the instant date. Wow, we covered a lot of fun ground today. I'm happy all of you tuned in. That's going to be it for today. I got a call with my sales manager, so I'm going to jump off and enjoy a great connection with him. If this was valuable to you, share it with a friend. Write a comment on what did you learn from this video, and I'd love to be able to see that and celebrate with you. Tune in next time. I'm going to do this again next Friday. I might change the time to later in the day, so people will be, maybe that'll be a better time. We'll find out. And until next time, be generous, my friends. End stream.